Slide 3, slide 4. Okay, so as long as you can see the slides, that suggests this is working. Okay, I'll leave that one for Peter to enjoy.
They're not refreshing very quickly. It's dark at the moment, so it seems like there you go.
Here we go.
Oh, wonderful!
Okay,
that's a thing of beauty. Yes.
So I need to bear in mind that there's going to be a slight delay when I switch between slides. Then. Okay, I can do that. Let me. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. But you can see it absolutely fine. That's really good.
Yeah. And I typically find it. So you're doing that in full screen mode at the moment.
Yeah.
If you go back to the browser for a moment, if I may suggest that you do that, and if I just go into a really meaningful presentation, then that's a really meaningful presentation. I think you agree.
Yeah.
Then I can present in that mode.
Oh, the mode where you can see the slides on the side.
Yeah, exactly. And if I then pull my PowerPoint app to the side, I can actually see the pictures of the other guys while I'm actually presenting, because I have the browser in the background and I have the PowerPoint thing.
You get the feeling of being like with the audience.
Yes, or with the other presenters. So and of course you can sort of go full screen from there. At least for a little while, I can go full screen.
Okay.
And then come back out. So you can mix sort of between full screen and half screen by doing that, if you want to.
Okay, I might do
that. But that's totally down to your style. And
okay.
And there we go. That's you there. And so the other stuff that Alice and Izzy can do and I can do is, if you look at Alice right now, then she just disappeared, and that's because I sent her into the green room. And,
okay.
And now I'm sending also me into the.
Oh.
And now I'm coming back. And when you're in the green room, you can't hear the person talk. So Izzy cannot, we can talk about Izzy right now without Izzy being able to respond, which I think is really fair. Look out, she's back.
Okay. All right.
But isn't it cool? And then sort of if we have a conversation, we can switch into this view so that we can sort of talk like this for a while. And so there are a couple of different views that we can take.
Yeah, no, it looks great.
Yeah.
Just one thing I wanted to confirm. Can you hear me clearly? Should I use a microphone and like headphones?
We can hear you clearly.
Okay, yeah. There's no teeny kind of funny weird sound. Okay, that's important. So that's good to know.
I think I can hear you super well. Izzy, do you agree?
Yeah, crystal.
You're not using a headset either, Izzy, and still it's if you say something, it's very clear. I'm using a fancy headset, but that doesn't make it any better.
Okay, that sounds really good. Anything else?
That's it. And what we one major thing, major apologies for messing around with Microsoft Teams and live events and so forth. I'm very, very sorry.
Yeah, what else can you do on a lockdown Thursday night or whenever it was?
Quite a long list of things, but so be it. So be it. But we learned something at least, and this StreamYard tool I think is terrific because it is a beauty to use. It's really nice.
I agree.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Sorry. Do you think it would be worth pointing out how the comments work?
Good idea.
Yeah.
Do you want to run through that?
Yeah. So with your layout at the moment, Andrea, you probably can see the comments and the private chat
Yep.
as two separate tabs that you can be on.
Yep.
So the private chat will only be seen between the presenters,
Okay.
and the audience won't be able to see this. So I could say you have 5 minutes left
Okay.
as like a countdown on here, for example, and the audience wouldn't be able to see it.
Great.
And then underneath the comments, there should be, there we go. Underneath the comments, comments from the audience can come through, and whether you find that distracting or not, you can choose whether or not to be able to see the private chat instead of the
Sorry, no, I won't do that. Sorry, I was listening. It's live commenting. You have questions. Okay. I see.
Yeah. So people. So that's where all of the people watching on YouTube will be able to write questions there. And during a Q&A, what we are going to do is we're going to add the questions to the stream like this, so that we will be able to talk about one thing, and then remove it, and then choose another one.
So will I? Am I right in understanding you as the moderator will effectively be saying, okay, this question's come up. This is a discussion point. Let's talk about it. And then if someone else asks a question that you think that maybe is less relevant or was covered already, you'll sort of ignore it. So what I'm trying to say, will you be saying, oh, this is a good question, shall we discuss it a bit? Is that how it works? Okay,
yes.
perfect.
Yeah. So if you want to read through them, you can. But yeah, that's how we're going to be using that function during.
Okay. That sounds sensitive.
And you don't need to panic. Meaning, if there are some questions that are important, then what we can do during the presentation is quite simply. So we have 2 colleagues of ours, Matt and Ian, who are going to be keeping an eye throughout the whole show on the questions, if there are multiple of them. And if they see questions that they think, actually, this one is something that should be answered and it has not been, then what we'll do is we'll just lift them in suddenly. We'll just add them to the speakers on the left-hand side here, and towards the end, and just say, hey, and let Matt or Ian just sort of say. So if you have 30 minutes in total, this tool, this StreamYard tool, I think is terrific, because you can have a conversation like this, which I think is actually really nice. So towards the end, if you leave a little bit of space, then we can lift in a couple of people and have a conversation with you about the things that you've been talking about, and it can actually feel like a very natural Q&A session.
Yeah, no, sounds great.
Yeah. On the private chat, I've just put where you can find this current live stream. And if you click on that link, you'll see that the footage is 20 seconds behind. So there is going to be this buffer time, which means that so there is going to be this buffer time. Yeah.
Which is fine. It just means that the conversation with the audience during the Q&A might as well be moderated, because it's not real time anyway.
Okay.
It's 20-second delay. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. That all sounds really good. I will, as I was telling, so Peter, my slides, I haven't yet really had the chance to, so I had some time yesterday to write down my thoughts. So I know what I'm going to do. The slides I'm going to do in the weekend, and I'll send them by you sort of early in the week, so that you have them. But I presume it will make sense for me to, as we're doing now, broadcast them directly from my laptop. like you will have them in case as a failsafe in case disaster happens and I can't do it from my laptop. Therefore,
Yeah.
you have to do them. That makes sense.
That's the benefit. That's the benefit. So, yeah.
Yeah, because with the screen sharing on StreamYards, if the worst comes to the worst and your laptop explodes and everything goes horrendously out of the window, one of us could sit here and simply go through.
We then have We then have a couple of things that happen on the other side, on the dark side, and that's that Izzy is going to look at your presentation and what you said during the show, and she'll write like a 2-pager or 3-pager synopsis of what you've said. Okay. Which she will then give to you. And if you find that's useful, that's great. If you want to comment, that's great. Okay. And but the idea is to create a little white paper with what you've said, which I think is going to be a thing of beauty. Okay. And by the way, Izzy, the bar is a little bit high on this one because you do realize that you're writing for the chief editor. No pressure. And what Alice is going to do is she'll look at the combined video footage that we do and so forth, and she'll generate a couple of video clips. Now, those are actually very interesting because I don't know if you've seen on my LinkedIn page that I have a couple of video clips of the Holy Trinity, me, myself, and I. Okay. And it's actually quite useful to have a couple of video clips on your LinkedIn profile. You never know, it can be sent to your mother or something. So 30 seconds, 60 seconds, it'll be something short like that. And so Alice will generate that to you. And if there are bits that you don't like that you want to, or that you want to sort of highlight, then Alice can massage that in that direction. Alice is actually, believe it or not, she's a specialist at exactly that. Okay. So that's cool. And one of the things that Alice has mentioned that she would like to have as a part of her material, and Izzy has also said that she'd like to have it as part of her material, it's a little bit more like picture footage. And the thing that's special about this event is that you have some fascinating people who talk to each other. So in terms of pictorial material, having a set of portraits, well, that's only sounds so interesting. It would be more fun to have a couple of pictures of, for instance, you together with Rose Luckin, who's CEO for Educate, the government educational agency, and a couple of people like that. So unless you object to it, we will invite you for dinner with say 7 of these bad guys. Oh, I see. And what we'll do, and I've done this before and it's worked remarkably well. And what we do is we pull in a paparazzi photographer, a guy called Ian Stratton. He's done a lot of work for Daily Mail and for The Sun and for a couple of brands like that. Okay. And he is amazingly talented at not being seen. So if we have a whole dinner and we just let him float around and so forth, then without him disturbing us, we end up with 100 pictures that are gorgeous pictures of people talking to each other. Okay. And it ends up being
we all look like Hollywood film stars. I mean, that's obviously the most important part.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But that then becomes interesting because that means we can I'm just looking for it. That one there. We can do Stoke Park high res. We can then use those images as part of where is that thing? No, I can't easily see it. Okay. Whatever. This is from my days as head of casinos. There are so many reconciliation and things. Never mind. Whatever. You end up with some beautiful pictures, and we can use those pictures in the videos and in the white papers.
Sounds good. It sounds really well. It sounds really it's looking very nice, and yeah, looking forward to it.
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. All right. Will you play on Sunday night with the big boys, or are you waiting for real football?
I am very much waiting for real football. Yes. So that will be the. But we should. I mean, okay, maybe we can take this on the messages. But we should. I think at some point, I don't know when it will be. We should go. Or Matt said we should go out and play in the park or something, just jumpers and stuff. I think it's sort of possible now, or should be possible soon. We can try that.
It's fine for people to play football and to play tennis because you're not. You can be not close to each other.
I'm in favor of playing any format. So Izzy and Alice, just so you know, so Sunday nights instead of playing football and being healthy, we've been playing online poker and playing with a couple of cans of beer. So we've been the very opposite of healthy.
Yeah, you sent me a screenshot of the royal flush.
Yeah, that was amazing. The first time I've ever seen a royal flush in my life. So at a real table. So that was fun.
Yeah, the odds of that are very low. Yes, indeed.
Well, especially because in poker people typically fold their hands, so it's a bizarrely low probability. Yep. So okay, in that case, thank you everyone.
Have a good evening and weekend, and we see you again next week. Take care.
Perfect.
Take care.
Thank you.
Ha det bra.
Ha det bra.